All right. What made you podcast? I'm here with Sylvester, who we wanted to have on here for a couple weeks after I found out who he was and what he's doing and his time in the military. He has an incredible story to tell, and I will stop talking and just let him run the show from here on out. So, Sylvester, you go ahead, take it away. Kind of the one question, obviously, is what made you join the military? What years were you in? What was your job or your MOS? And then we can just talk about your entire life experience from there.
Okay, so my name is Sylvester Jenkins. I'm honored to be on this show, man. I really appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to be on the show. But what made me join the military? Well, I'm a retired Army, but what made me join the military, man, was the fact that just growing up, man, come from a low income housing, single parent home. When it came down to my neighborhood, it was drug infested, gang related, all those things, man. So it was like you only had three choices as a black man, to be honest with you. And that was either die, go to jail, or just make it out based out of luck. So I just wanted to change the narrative when it came down to the perspective of, just my family upbringing. I got other siblings. So when it came down to me, I chose to join the military just to change the narrative, and just start being who I am today. But in the process, I was a 91 Zulu. For those who don't know what that is, that's a senior maintenance supervisor. I retired as a first sergeant. I did 21 years in the military. So throughout the time span, man, I experienced so much good, bad, ugly, whatever you want to name it, whatever you want to call it. But just going through the motion, I think it built me to who I am today. It wasn't my accomplishments that set me up for success as far as where I am now. It was just the hardship, the struggles, the sacrifices, the failures. All that I went through put me in the position that I am now. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell to where I am right now.
Awesome. And so you did 21 years, you got out, right? Did you know what you
Right.
were going to do when you got out, or did you just kind of figure that out as you went along?
I mean, I think I was just like a little kid, man. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. It was just pretty much once I hit that, I knew I only wanted to do 20 years in the military. The only reason I went over a year was due to the fact of a deployment. But I said I wanted to do 20 years, and I wanted to start a career doing something else. And I wanted to use the tools that I had from the military in going into my next career. But lo and behold, man, my purpose totally shifted in transition of coming out of the military. I started going through the motions of trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do, and what sparked my interest into doing what I'm doing right now. For those who don't know, I am a author, I am a entrepreneur, and also a youth motivational speaker. So when it came to what I am doing today, it all sparked it from the tribulation that I experienced not only in childhood but as I was going through 2019. So I was deployed, had a lot of ends when it came down to that, some medical issues. She later on passed away during the time frame of me coming back from the deployment, and then also during the time frame of being deployed. The hardships of just the family itself. It's
Right.
difficult. It's not an easy process. So just the communication piece, children growing up without you being there, they're not really understanding why you're gone, and then also um, your spouse having to be a single parent during the time frame you going, and you not being able to being there to help them. So the stresses are just adding up as that year goes along. So when my mother passed, it just she really didn't go through the motions of leaving us anything, but just her hard work and dedication when it comes. But on a more legacy, generational wealth, or on that aspect, it wasn't there. And just due to the fact of seeing that, made me want to change the narrative for my family, for my generation to come. As my kids got older, I wanted them to have something to be able to, a foundation to be able to build from. And then in the process of going through the motions of my retirement, I noticed that I started my feelings once I was going through behavioral health. I was expressing my feelings a lot to my behavioral health provider, and she was like, "Do you journal?" I was like, I thought journaling was just for girls. Just to be honest with you, I thought journaling was just for girls. So she was like, "No, you need to start journaling, express your feelings, and put it in all on paper." Started doing it. I literally started taking her advice when it came down to expressing my feelings. I started to put down a lot of knowledge or information. So during my time frame of being in the military and as a leader, I noticed that I could never get my soldiers, I could never get my NCOs, I could never get my people together in order to make sure that they gained the knowledge needed when it came down to what I was trying to do. So when it came to the situations of what I was putting on paper was pretty much just general knowledge that they needed in order to be successful and run their teams. So in the process of doing that, I passed out. I let my wife read over it. She said, "Hey, this is good." I was like, "Man, whatever. I can't write no book." It never popped in my head that that I had general knowledge that people needed in order to be successful. So I went ahead on and just started putting in more, beefing it up more. Next thing you know, I put it on paper. I let a couple of my old soldiers read it. A couple of NCOs that I didn't know, sergeant majors. I let a lot of people review this information just before I say, "Hey man, I'm gonna go in this direction of becoming an author." I want to know what their thoughts is on it, just so I can have some type of better opinion overall, just outside of my wife, because my wife's gonna support me regardless.
Right.
So pretty much they were like, "Hey, this is awesome, man. This is great." So I was like, "Man, I never thought in any aspects that I had the general knowledge to be able to provide something with all that information." But here's what the kicker is for me. All right. So the kicker is for me that throughout growing up, all right. So I told you previously, drug infested neighborhood, gangs or whatever. I experienced all that stuff at an early age of 13. I was doing drugs. I ran with the gangs. I did all that stuff. But here's the kicker for me. Like I failed this 4th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade, 10th grade, and the 12th grade. I failed all this. I failed all those grades. I was deemed a failure in my book. When I joined the military, it was just because I knew I didn't have to use my brain in order to succeed. I just had to be physical in order to make it through. So I was like going through the motions of the military. When I got through basic training, went to my first duty station, which was Fort Bragg, North Carolina, I got in trouble. I never separated myself. I was still in that mode of being a product of my environment. I never separated myself to become who I am today. So people always ask me, man, they tell me, they were like, "Man, you're an awesome leader. You have what it takes in order to succeed. How did you do it?" And I tell them, this is not my upbringing. This is what I chose to do. I changed the narrative and chose to, use my process of my brain in order to go in the path that I am right now. But but when I was in the military initially starting out, I got in trouble. I got Article 15. I received Article 15s. I went through a divorce during the time frame I was in there. I contemplated suicide. I went through the whole motion. Deployments, multiple deployments. I've been on 6 deployments. So Afghanistan and Iraq. So going through all that, all that stuff compiled up. It's just like a bottle of Coca-Cola. Whenever you shake it up, as soon as you get ready to take that top off, it'll just explode if it's not tended to. And me, I never found no way to express myself. And I was just bottled up the whole time. So, of course, I had deemed myself a failure throughout that whole process of going through all that stuff. And it seems as though I never had nobody I could just express that stuff to. And I know there's plenty of brothers and sisters in arms that's going through silent grieving right now, that's going through hardships right now, and they're afraid to express themselves due to certain circumstances of what they're afraid to be labeled of. Like when it comes down to going to behavioral health, I was afraid to go to behavioral health because I was like, man, I'm a senior non-commissioned officer in the military. What I look like going, and then my soldiers seeing me and saying, hey, first I'm going to behavioral health. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? He's not suitable to lead us. He's not, functioning up top in order to be in a leadership position. It's that gray area that people don't speak about. But everybody who's in the military that has been on a deployment, experienced some type of hardship, need to go to behavioral health. You need to PMCS your body from time to time. You need to PMCS with your mind. You need to PMCS your spirituality, your physical, and your mental. It all goes together. If you want to be a high functioning soldier somehow, you have to PMCS those areas. You just don't have to PMCS your vehicle, your weapon. You have to PMCS yourself as well.
Yeah, I think
And I'm
that's it's really important, especially for once someone gets out and they're in the veteran community. I think in the past it's been mostly, staying in shape. That was kind of like the focus that everyone put on it. But I
right,
think now there is less of a stigma around mental health, and whether it's meditation or going through cognitive therapy or speaking with someone. I think there's
right,
less of a stigma on it now, but there could definitely be a lot more around that. Like you said, it should be just uh, something that everyone is doing, right? It's not. It
absolutely.
shouldn't be. You have to wait until you snap or wait until you have one of those oh shit moments that you start doing it. It should be something that we're taught, I think, in like basic training. Like you need to take care of
Absolutely.
your weapon, your body, your mind, everything in order to be successful.
Everything. So, which led me to my second book. So my first book is called A Quick Cure to Successful Leadership. It's on every platform, Audible, iTunes, and also Amazon. So you can easily pick that book up. It talks about seven skills, seven qualities to being a highly effective and efficient leader. So it speaks about emotional intelligence, it speaks about teamwork, it speaks about goal setting, it speaks about motivation, it speaks about just becoming a leader in general. So all those things are key elements that I assume or I feel just the entry and mid level leader needs in order to build upon, in order to become a great leader later on down the line whenever they become a senior. And then also I did my second book was speaking on resilience. So my second book is called uh, Winning the Battle Within, Resilience, the Secret Ingredient. So I called it that just due to the fact that a lot of people don't know about resilience. And I consider it to be a secret ingredient in order to quickly recover from any adversity that you might feel. So, some of us that I feel there's three type of people in this world. You got the potato, you got the egg, and you got the coffee bean. I don't know if you heard this analogy before, but so the potato is hard on the outside, but when you throw it, let's say when you throw it in boiling water, let's call that adversity, whether it's financial hardship, a divorce, let's call it a loss of a loved one, it starts to soften up after it gets in that boiling water for quite some time, correct? And then let's say that's saying you on the inside whenever it comes down to facing any of those hardships. Next thing you know, you start to soften up. Now you can't function straight. Your mind is all over the place and you don't know how to act. Now you want to lead to other things down the line. You start to have that spiral effect that just bring you just start just going downhill, one thing after another. Let's say when it comes down to the egg, when you throw egg in the boiling water, which is still adversity, next thing you know, you start to harden up on the inside. Now you don't have the same emotion that you had. You numb up when it comes down to dealing with in relationships. Like if you got hurt or if you got battered and bruised or abused, now you're scared to even open your heart. You still got that brick wall up. That's that egg. But if you're that coffee bean, when coffee bean gets in boiling water, what happens? It changed the whole scenery. It goes from boiling water to coffee. It's a great aroma. Everything changed. It changes the whole narrative around them. It's stern. It's still hard, and it's great to drink. It's just great to drink overall in a nutshell. So what I'm saying, it talks about like being the coffee bean at all times. Whenever you face adversity, change your surrounding, change the narrative. Make sure you have all the tools you need. It breaks it down step by step. How to be resilient, what resilient does for you, how it can help you whenever it comes down to your kids. Because as your kids grow up, things change. I mean, we all been teenagers at one point in time. We all been young kids at one point in time. When it came down to being in a military, if say like if in the military, you're always gone as a parent, and sometimes you'll miss a whole year of your child's life, missed a whole year. You come back home, they go from being a preteen to a teenager. Now they got friends, they running the streets, they doing all kind of things, and you have no clue of what's going on with them. This book can help you communicate with them better. It can also help you give them safety nets when it comes down to what they're experiencing in life. It can help on all levels. But this is I just felt like it was just best for me to provide this information for others to just build from, just due to the fact of I didn't have that when I was coming through the ranks. So I experienced all things on life, but through research and also just prior experiences, it just helped me to just want to fulfill my purpose as far as serving others in order to try and prevent them from going down the same path. Because when it comes down to suicide, 22, like just imagine how many people could have prevented suicide if they just knew about resiliency, if they just had like a guide to put them in the right mind and to overcome any adversity that they had in order to make it possible for you as a leader to shift change. It talks about having a growth mindset. It talks about team building. It talks about a lot of things to prepare you as a leader in order to just continue to just grow your team in the right manner, because your number one responsibility overall as a leader is to turn followers into leaders. So so I mean like and then when it came down to the speaking, so that was something that just came out of nowhere, to be honest with you. Like as far as doing the actual speaking engagements, dealing with like the youth or whatnot. So my wife, she works at a children's what do you want to call it, detention center. She works at a children's detention center, and of course, there's a lot of troubled kids over there. And she figured from my experiences growing up that I would be able to help point them in the right direction. So what was catchy about it that I went in there, just spoke about my story, but you could just feel the passion behind what I was saying, because I didn't want to see those kids fall in the same direction
Right.
that I could have possibly went. And it's a great feeling to know that you have such an impact to the point that you could have shifted somebody from uh, going down a rabbit hole that can possibly end their life. Because once they turn 18, they're on their own,
Right.
and you never know what can happen to them. They can either get reintegrated with gangs, they can get strung out on drugs, they can stay homeless, they can commit suicide. It's so many things that can happen to these children, and they experience so much at a young age. It's tragic, but at the same time, to be able to be there in order to try and levitate their mind frame so they won't be on a have a fixed mindset. So now they can see like an example, like he did it, I can do it too.
Right. That's huge.
So
Super,
I
super powerful.
yes, absolutely. And I think, just like I said before, like last year, I did not know what I wanted to be when I grew up, but after writing the book, doing the youth speaking, I know this is my purpose. And and you know what they say? They say if you do something you love to do, you'll never work a day in your
That's
life.
right.
And I'm enjoying every bit of it.
So what's next? Do you have anything on the horizon in terms of another book that you're working on right now? Or I know you have a website where people can look to hire you for speaking engagements. Are you trying to do
Right.
more work there right now?
Oh, absolutely. So, I'm like I said before, I'm working on my third book. It'll be released in 2021, between January and February 2021. Like I said, it's called The Compass. As far as the speaking engagement, if you ever want to book me to speak at and inspire any of your teens or your anywhere from um, eighth grade all the way up to college, you can easily go to my website at R2T Rise RISE 2TO the top.org, and just fill out the booking information, and I'll easily come to wherever you located at in order to um speak to the youth in order to put them in the right mind frame, inspire them to be great. I'll speak about things dealing with being created on purpose for a purpose. I'll speak about being maxing out. So just a quick review on maxing out. So in the military, I don't know if they do it in the Marine Corps and the Air Force and the Navy, but in the military, whenever we got ready to take a PT test, we always talked about maxing out. All right, so we spoke about going to the max whenever it came down to whatever it was. All right, so whenever somebody asks you, hey, how did you do on the PT test? I maxed out. Or how did you do on your push-ups? I maxed out. So max stands for mindset, attitude, and execute. So your mindset is the first thing you're gonna start out with. I speak about talking about how you got eyesight and then you got mind sight, because you got to see it before you see it. And if you don't see it, then you're going to be stuck in the rut. It was like writing out your vision. Whenever you have these dreams, a goal without a plan is just a wish. Pretty much, it's just a dream. So I speak about mindset and then your attitude. When it comes down to the king of the jungle, the lion. Why is the lion the king of the jungle when you got an elephant twice his size? Because of his attitude. When it comes down to execution, you got to execute. If you don't put your best foot forward, it's never going to happen. So sometimes we get in the rut and we just stay there, but you can't give up on yourself. You got to keep moving forward, because once you look back, you're going to hurt yourself. You got to keep moving forward in order to be successful in life. It's just part of the process. And then just go to the full throttle, just max it on out. So talk about that. That's a whole nother show. I promise you, I can speak about that for a whole another hour or so, man. That is a powerful one, man, because at no point in life did I ever think I can be where I am right now. And it was all because of my mindset. I was shy. I was, afraid to, speak about things, speak up. I didn't have the confidence because I deemed myself as a failure when it came down to just growing up in life, just because of everything people had told me. My student counselor, she told me I would never amount to anything. She told me I wouldn't graduate on time with my class, which was true. I did not graduate on time with my class, but at the same time, they had already written me off. They already had gave up on me. And to know, that people along the time frame of you growing up, these people that you think or feel have your best interests at heart, not always, they won't always will. But you have to, keep in mind, you have to keep the good faith. You have to keep up the good fight. And some people, they lose it. Once somebody tells them they're not worth it, or they're not where they can be, or not trying to speak life into them, they crumble, they break, they give up on life. And it's possible. Anything is possible when you have the right mindset. Anything. And if you come with that, if you have the right mindset, it's just gonna trickle over and overflow into your attitude, the self-esteem, the confidence. It's just gonna trickle over into that. It's just like a big pot of water just overflowing with just greatness. it's just trickling over, man, just one into the next. And then just executing, because once you build up that confidence, you're not gonna be afraid to do anything. You're not gonna you're gonna feel like, man, I can run through a brick wall right now. You're gonna have that confidence to go out there and execute. You're gonna want to do it because you ain't gonna feel that nothing can stop you. That's why you got to max out on everything. What are you not maxing out on? If you max out on your PT test in the military, are you maxing out at home with your kids? Are you maxing out at home with your spouse? Are you maxing out when it comes down to the job in general? Are you maxing out on yourself? What are you, saying? Like, if you giving up everything to try and score high on this PT test, give up everything to score high in life. Give up everything to score high in your family. Give up everything to score high. Just go to the maximum.
God damn it, I'm fired up.
I'm telling you, man, like I can speak for hours just dealing with that. So I mean, that's some of the things I do, man. And I just feel so blessed to be able to just provide that and give to hope to the people that feel hopeless at any point in time. My goal is to inspire But yeah, hey, so that's enough of me talking right now. Do you have any questions at this time?
I love it, man. I love your message. I love your spark, and you can tell it makes perfect sense, right? You knew right away once you started doing this, once you started writing and speaking to people, that this was your passion, what you were going to do for the rest of your life.
Right.
So it comes off. You can tell how authentic it is and how enthusiastic you are about it. So I absolutely love it, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Like I said before, man. Like it's an honor, man. Like it's an honor to have the opportunity during my time frame in the military. Of course, as a leader, you have to change the situation for some soldiers who don't have that same get up and go as you do. You have to put them in that mind frame where they can succeed at anything. If you want them to follow you, you got to influence them. Influence is a key in order to be successful at any point in time as being a leader. You got to influence, inspire, and impact them. If you're not doing that, then you're wasting your time. You need to go back to the drawing board and reinvent yourself. Because if you're not doing those three things, man, it's going to be a rough time for you throughout the time span of you being a leader anywhere, whether it's at home, whether you're a coach, whether you're a pastor, whether you're working at Walmart, greeting people. Either way it goes, you're a leader at something. Everybody has what it takes to be a leader. I believe everybody was born to be a leader. But when it comes down to being a great leader, that's when it comes down to being self-invested in yourself, which leads to self-leadership. You have to invest in yourself in order to become great. Tom Brady didn't become a 6-time Super Bowl champion just because he sat there and was basing it off his talent. He didn't. He was the last pick in the game. I mean, during the draft, he was the last pick. That means 32 teams went past him 5 times before he got drafted. And now he's considered the GOAT. You think it was because he just sat there and said, my time is coming? No, he put in the work to become where he is right now. He put in that work. And if you want to become great, you want to be a great leader, you have to work on it. You can't stop being a student. You have to continue learning. I never stop learning. I'm reading on a daily basis, whether it's audible, whether it's, actually flipping pages, I'm always learning. I never stop learning, because once you stop learning, you stop leading. That's just my metaphor. Once you stop learning, you stop leading. The price of discipline is regret. And I want to be on my deathbed about what I could have did. I want to be about what I did.
That's right.
That's just it in a nutshell, man. So like overall on everything, man, like when it comes to it, man, like everybody has what it takes to become a leader. It's just all about how bad do you want it.
I love it. Well, look, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, but I think we're definitely going to have you back on to talk about maxing out more and more of.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Like, hey, you let me know the time, and I'll be there, man.
Yes, sir. And then again, if you want to plug, tell everyone where they can find your books, your website. If they want to hire you as a speaker, feel free to plug yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So my books are one is called A Quick Cure to Successful Leadership. It's now out on Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Then I also have the book Winning the Battle Within. It's called Resiliency, the Secret Ingredient, which is also on Amazon. It's on Kindle and also in paperback. If you want to try and book me for a speaker at your school in any type of way, shape, fashion, or form, or you want to do a podcast or just any type of interview in general, you can reach me at my website is the letter R, the number 2, and T, the letter T, and then it's Rise, RISETOTHETOP.org. You can reach me at any of those. It has my phone number, my email, and also a way to book me. Then it also has all my books on there as well. So you can reach me at any point in time whenever it comes down to doing anything in general that you can see on the website.
Awesome. And then, yeah, I'll make sure to include all the links in the description here on this video and the audio recording as well, so we can send some people your way. I'm definitely going to be picking up your books. I'm excited to read them.
Absolutely.
Again, I'm just this conversation has me fired up, so I love it. This is what I hope for when I speak to people who preach about leadership, is being able to tell that one, they know what they're talking about, but they're passionate about it as well. So.
Oh, absolutely. I feel a strong passion for it. And then, just with everything that came along, but I greatly appreciate this opportunity to speak with you, to have this opportunity to speak to your audience, and then also just to have this fellowship during the time frame of us being able to talk.
Yeah, of course. And we're definitely going to have you back on, because I think you and I have a lot more conversations we can talk about.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I got many, but thank you for having me again. I hope to hear from you in the near future. We get to have this opportunity again to everybody. I put out the information dealing with my site. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future.